TuffTrax, Bigfoot 8 has a close call with the wall. The Equalizer is last week's winner, but King Krunch gets another shot at him. And the Outlaw puts the fans on their feet.
Superstars of monster truck racing are back once again at one of the most respected and well-known dirt track racing facilities in the entire nation, Lebanon Valley Speedway in eastern New York, where today, here on TuffTrax, you'll see the top monster trucks in the world going side by side on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge.
Boy, isn't this a beautiful part of the country?
Well, yeah, and these people are used to seeing some good racing. I'm glad to be up here at the monster trucks and make this northern tour once a year. And good people are seeing good racing tonight at a great facility.
And two guys that are seeing a lot of each other. USA 1 and Rambo last week here at West Lebanon. They ran each other 3 times, qualifying and then twice in racing. And here they'll go side by side and qualifying again.
One big difference tonight would lean towards a horsepower track, but Rambo's running tough. Oh, both drivers still. You know, this is like two guys in a street fight. Neither one is going to give an inch. I don't know how they're going to call that.
For the second week in a row, USA 1 is disqualified on his qualification run, and he's going to have to go back, run again with a 3-second penalty. He's backing right up. He's going to go ahead and run right now.
Yeah, look how hard Wilke ran the Rambo truck, but both front tires did not touch the final set of cars, and he knows it. Like you say, he's going right back to the line. Replay comes from the end-row camera.
This will be a great shot to show you why Rambo was legal, USA 1 was not. Rambo got those first 2 wheels up. USA 1 didn't. And so Steve Wilke is going to have to do it again. But remember, no matter how good this run is, it'll have 3 seconds of a penalty added onto it.
This camera angle on the end of the track is phenomenal. Great job by the camera crew. Shows you it's not just sitting in a truck and driving. You got to really work out there. And Wilke goes right back to the line. No excuses, but nobody in the other lane to intimidate him either. Let's see what kind of time he turns.
Excellent shot by Steve Wilke. Hold her down, Steve. And, you know, you can really see on the replay and here again on that camera angle in live action that he is really fighting it inside that cab.
Well, he gets pumped anyway, and it just carries over to his driving style.
You know what's ironic? With the 3-second penalty, USA 1 is going to be 13th. But if that would have been a legal qualifying run on the first shot, or if this one would have counted without the penalty, he'd have been second fastest in qualifying. So obviously Wilke got a great shot down, but he's got to somehow control it on that first set.
Scott, where it's going to hurt him, he will not have lane choice. They're going to be pushing him around all night long wherever they want him.
Well, that's a great point, because no matter who Steve Wilke races, the opponent will have lane choice throughout the night. Chris Chapman has caught up with Steve Wilke, and he's always got something interesting to say. Here's Chris.
Steve, looked like during that first qualification run that you were trying to get out of Rambo's way, which got you DQ'd.
Well, in a way, I really wasn't watching him. I come out the first stack and checked a little bit to the inside, and I actually overcorrected. That was my fault.
So Steve Wilke, right to the point. I'll tell you, I do like that about Steve Wilke. You know, if there's something wrong with the equipment, he tells us. But if he makes a mistake, he's the first one to come tell you, hey, I blew it.
Yeah, and also he brought out something else, something that's mandatory in a good racer. He wasn't watching the other guy. He drives his own race. Now, speaking of own race, truck in the right lane had nothing but troubles. Man, he's fast, but oh, he's got it cocked around, shut down on the other end. Andy Brass still hanging a big, bad right.
Look at this. These will be the top 2 times of the night. Bigfoot Fast qualifier, and the Outlaw will be number 2.
And they're good times. That means that's the way they're going to have to be paired off. What a driving job of that kid out of Missouri, though.
7.49 for Bigfoot, 8.06 for the Outlaw. What a run by these 2 Fords. And look, Bigfoot even had to get out of it for a second.
Yeah, he backpedaled at mid-track, punched the throttle, and right turn, Clyde, just like last week. I don't know why that truck does that.
I don't know why it didn't go over. He was really cocked.
Those spectators don't know why it does it either.
I'm going to tell you, watch it again as Bigfoot starts to slide. And a lot of times when trucks start to get up on those 2 wheels, they go on over. But the Bigfoot truck came back to Andy Brass here. Man, he was perilously close to going over. Chris Chapman has caught up with Andy Brass. Let's see what he's got to say.
Andy, you got a little squirrely off the first set of cars. You got hit on the second set of cars, and you still had the fast time.
Yeah, it is. You know, it just goes to prove the truck will run when it does, when we can hit the cars right. You know, it's first time in that lane. You know, I'm just trying to check it out. The track seems a little slick on top, as you can see at the end there when I just started sliding. You know, it's nothing we can do about it right now.
Looked like you were going over.
I kind of thought we was there for a little bit. I was just hoping that they didn't pull the kill switch on me and kill me, because I was still trying to steer it under power.
Andy Brass and Bigfoot in good shape as the fast qualifier. He's going to get a 5 run. Let's look at how things will shake down in the first round of competition. As I mentioned, Bigfoot gets to run by himself. Rambo takes on Star Monster. Then the Auto Value King Krunch battles USA 1. Carolina Crusher meets Nightlife. The Equalizer comes out against the crippled Mopar Magic. And then to round it out, the Buffalo Tremor takes on Thunder Chicken, and it's Outlaw against Pony Express. This is TuffTrax. I've got Douglas starting Armstrong. For the first round of side-by-side competition, Army, they're handing, to explain to folks who haven't seen this before possibly, that killer radio box is what got handed into the cab.
Okay, that's a safety piece of equipment. There's a track member that sits way away from the track. If one of the trucks gets in trouble, he hits the kill switch and shuts the truck off. TNT are the only people that make you run these things, and it's a good idea. But we've got an upstate New York race. Look at this Rambo against the Star Monster. Did Rambo hit the second set of cars? That's the big question.
That is the question. Bill Weaver of Rambo, perilously close to being DQ'd. I'm not sure. We'll wait for the replay to see if it was a legal run, as he did beat Chris Tuffley of Star Monster across the line.
You know, Bill beat the USA 1 truck last week. He doesn't follow the whole tour. It's a family operation. He's a second-generation driver. Their mom's really involved in this sport. They are going to be players if they decide to come on board and run for these World Championship points.
It is a legal run for the Rambo truck, so he gets the win over the Star Monster. Rambo based in Hastings, New York, and Star Monster in Syracuse. Here we go. I've been looking forward to this one. A couple of real hard chargers here. Scott Stevens, the Auto Value King Krunch out of Texas, to take on from Ham Lake, Minnesota, Steve Wilke, USA 1. The first ever World Championship of monster truck racing was that USA 1 truck.
First center side by side. What's going to happen? They're both going to go big time. Oh, right. Wilke. Oh, Stevens is in trouble.
But he gets her shut down, and he's okay. A great run for Steve Wilke and the USA 1 truck. He gets the victory.
God, this ought to be a good interview now.
He's always a good interview, but when he wins, he tends to be fired.
Watch Stevens on this run, though. He's having the problem in the left lane that everybody else was having in the right lane. The truck is hooking to the right.
And that hook cost him a chance to win right there. There seems to be no doubt about it, because they were even until he took that little right turn. Here we go again, Army.
Actually, the truck hooks twice. Watch it. Over the first jump, it'll hook now. He throttles back in it, but at the finish line, it hooks again. And Wilke just straight as an arrow.
Steve Wilke gets the victory. First, let's go to Chris Chapman, who is caught up with Scott Stevens.
Scott, that was a very good run. There looked like there might have been some problems on the starting line.
Yeah, our throttle was binding up a little bit, and we wanted to be sure it was right. We were going pretty fast here. Didn't want the throttle to stick or something. So Kevin just checked it out, and probably the Heim fitting or something was a little loose. I don't even know what it was. The truck ran good. I just got a little loose.
Going very fast, you were a possibility you could come back as fast as the fast loser. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we need to. It would really be good for us, and actually it could help us a lot, because we were in a bad bracket. We had a lot of, next round would have been Carolina, then Bigfoot, so if we can get out of that bracket, it'd be really good.
But he's got to get in, and with 13 trucks, they're only going to take one fast loser into the quarterfinals.
You know, Scott, it's kind of interesting. These guys are watching the brackets now. When we started this tour, they didn't really care much about it. Now they're trying to figure the angle.
We want to look at Carolina Crusher and Nightlife from last week. You'll remember Crusher was fast qualifier, but Nightlife upset him on this run. These two are about to race here in West Lebanon again.
What you saw last week, you will not see this week. I think Gary Porter had just a little bit of brain fade. In other words, he didn't really take Weiczorek seriously. Believe me, he's taking him serious right now. But look at the lane choice we go back. This lane choice thing keeps coming back to haunt us, Scott.
Crusher will be in the outside lane. Closest to you, it's the Nightlife Chevrolet. Give it to Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher.
Both trucks make good straight runs. They're starting to figure the track out, I believe, Scott Douglas.
Boy, and you can tell they are much faster than a week ago when Rains had this track muddy. Boy, it is a fast track today.
Once again, notice how both trucks go relatively straight. That's a good straight run. Look at that.
Indeed, both of them straight as an arrow, and Carolina Crusher just able to outmuscle the Nightlife Chevrolet of Dave Weiczorek. There's Gary Porter working his way over to Army Armstrong. Let's go to the interview now.
Gary, we just get the word of 7:95, under 8 seconds on this track. That's phenomenal.
It is. It's getting faster and faster. I'm learning that right lane a little bit more. I'm lining up further to the right than anybody, and I'm thinking of making, it's just a smoother runner, smoother than anybody out here.
Gary Porter telling it like it is as he has worked his way into the quarterfinal round of competition. He'll meet USA 1 next time around. Another look at this race between Carolina Crusher and Nightlife.
Scott, something that's happening. These other drivers that have yet to run around are coming and listening to our interviews to see if they can pick up little hints. And Porter just told them a whole lot about that right lane.
Equalizer's coming up next. The superstars of monster truck racing back on the lightning quick Lebanon Valley Speedway, West Lebanon, New York. The reigning champion of the world in monster truck racing, the Chevrolet known as the Equalizer, Gary Cook's team out of Tennessee. Now the thing to remember about the Equalizer, of course, is that this rookie, new driver, he's not the guy who won it a year ago. And I'm going to tell you, he has adapted to this truck so fast, and he won here a week ago. It's Greg Holbrook taking on Gary Wiggins in the Mopar Magic.
Scott, kid, there's not a race at all. This kid just literally strong-arm that Chevrolet into the next round. He's just a natural.
And, Mopar Magic, again, had only two-wheel drive. And when you come up against Equalizer and Greg Holbrook, you have just got to be at 100% if you want to have a chance to beat this truck and beat this driver. It seems to be such a great combination. Greg Holbrook and the Equalizer racing team. Greg's over with Army. Let's get on to the interview right now. Army?
Greg, an 8.16, and it looked quick, but we got two guys that are already running under that 8-second bracket.
Yeah, they've been running real fast, and I've got to take it easy that time. Gary didn't have but just two-wheel drive. He ripped the front drive shaft out in qualifying, so I took it a little easy that time.
So everything is go? I mean, you're just kind of backpedaling right now?
Yeah, we're just taking it easy on the truck and waiting until we have to get on it before we do.
That's the word from Greg Holbrook. Not a bad effort for Mopar Magic despite the problems. Let's go to Chris Chapman, who is now with Gary Wiggins of Mopar Magic.
Gary, I believe you needed four-wheel drive to go up against that world champion truck.
Oh, yeah, of all things, I got to get the wrong truck. And it was too hard on the truck that way. So I needed a four-wheel drive bad.
How did it feel, though, going out there in two-wheel drive? Run looked pretty good.
Well, it felt good, but not at the hole. It felt like I was just sitting there in the hole. So not good at all.
Well, good luck in future races here on TuffTrax.
Thank you.
The Buffalo Tremor-John Kwasniewski out of Buffalo, New York, will now take on Thunder Chicken, who surprised us all. He recorded a win over Bigfoot last week, even though Bigfoot had all the problems. Thunder Chicken says on the scorecard, all it shows is a win over Bigfoot. He got it last week in the first round.
He definitely did, but they were on a slippery track tonight. That's history. It's going to be a mile-an-hour track. It's going to be a quick track. Watch for Johnny K to pull him, not on the starting line in, but on the finish line in. Right about now. Oh, Thunder Chicken. Boy, eat my words. That guy put the big boys on the trailer 2 weeks in a row.
Impressive. Thunder Chicken gets the victory with that small motor, and the Buffalo Tremor running a much bigger motor, but Chicken able to get it done. It's kind of neat. He's going to keep running him, but I guess we'll call the Northeastern bracket down here with these two trucks and Outlaw and Pony Express all down here in the bottom bracket. Thunder Chicken, one of the Northeast guys looking good. He gets the win.
If you follow monster truck racing, you're familiar with the name Thunder Chicken and Kid Rarig. Now, a lot of people don't really recognize him as a winner, but you've been knocking off some really heavy metal trucks the last couple of weeks. You're definitely for real. Are you trying to sneak into this thing?
I want to do it real bad, yeah.
The truck is running great. You're driving, I believe, harder than I've ever seen you drive, kid.
I just worked on the transmission to get it shift a little quicker, sooner, and I think it's helping.
You're definitely going to be a player tonight. Good luck to you.
Okay.
Chris Chapman is standing by with Buffalo Tremor's John Kwasniewski. Chris?
John, Lady Luck just not on your side. 889 to 879.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. Something just ain't right. We're just tuning it up and gearing it different, and we just ain't got the right combination here today.
One guy who does have the right combination, the Outlaw-Mike Wine, driving Nick Rossi's truck out of Pennsauken, New Jersey. His opponent will be the Pony Express and Anthony Fortier out of Bloomfield, New Jersey. Now remember, Outlaw was the second fastest qualifier behind only Bigfoot 8 today.
He's hooked up with a new sponsor. The Super Winch people came on board. They put some money into the operation. That allowed these guys to buy horsepower. In motorsports, how fast you want to go, how much money do you want to spend? For the first time in Nick Rossi's life, he's had some big bucks to buy big horsepower. Let's see what the Outlaw can do with it.
Little bounce on him on the first set.
Boy, Mike Wine is definitely a driver. Oh, he's got a little bit of problem. He's got to go to the left. Wine's got to get on the throttle.
Oh, what a save. What a save by Mike Wine.
Beautiful driving by Wine.
That was an awesome piece of driving and an awesome save. And I'm going to tell you, Nick Rossi's heart jumped up in his throat and it pulled it back down because his driver does an incredible job of keeping that truck from going on its route.
Let me tell you something. Army Armstrong's heart jumped up in his throat on that one. I thought the kid was going on his lid.
Wow, watch this again.
And you got to have throttle. Right here, he makes a decision. Into the gas and powers out.
He was all the way up, and he just brought that baby back over. I think he just willed that truck back over.
Boy, this camera angle are fantastic. You're getting to see these incidents 2 and 3 times over and over again. Watch the right side of your screen. Bounce, bounce. Now we got a throttle.
He's up on his side, and he stays in it and pulls her down. Wow.
You seem to be attacking the track right now. We haven't seen this in you. Is it because you're getting new confidence in you, as yourself as a driver, and the engine combination?
A little bit of both. I'm finally getting used to the truck. Plus, I called home. I talked to the owner, Nick Rossi, at Triangle Springs in Pennsauken. We just picked up a new sponsorship. It's Super Winch out of Connecticut. They just pumped in $25,000 into us for this brand new motor. I feel like I have to prove something to those people. They were kind enough to give us the money for this. I'm going to do my best for those people if I can. Super Winch out of Connecticut.
Tell you what, you impressed a whole lot of people. Lebanon Valley, we'll see you in the next round.
Thank you, Army.
That completes the first round of racing on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge from West Lebanon, New York. Mike Wine's aggressive driving makes the Outlaw our first truck in a new TuffTrax feature, the Power Drive. This week's Power Drive is brought to you by Nintendo's Game Boy, where every shift of the gears brings to you more games and excitement.
God, it's appropriate that this week's Power Drive feature is the Outlaw, as he needed the power to stay out of trouble to keep from going on his top. A beautiful piece of driving by Mike Wine, and it shows us he could be a player later on in the competition.
Whenever you feel the need to be in control, reach for Game Boy from Nintendo, your power to go. We'll be right back with the quarterfinal round of the TNT Monster Truck Challenge on TuffTrax. Quarterfinal round action coming up on TuffTrax. Here's the way it'll shake down. Bigfoot, fast qualifier, had a bye run, now has an opponent. He'll take on Rambo-Bill Weaver. Then we'll see USA 1 renew his long rivalry with the Carolina Crusher. The action will continue as we see the Equalizer take on the fast loser, Scott Stevens, and the Auto Value King Krunch. Maybe it wasn't such an advantage going into this bracket. Then the Thunder Chicken, after upsetting Buffalo Tremor, will take on the Red Hot Outlaw and Mike Wine. Bigfoot number 8, revolutionary, state-of-the-art, brand new suspension. They call it a cantilever suspension, and it actually gives Bigfoot the kind of suspension travel that no other truck has ever had in this sport.
This is a truck that brought all the controversy into the sport this year. They actually made them, yes, they made them keep this truck away from the races for 2 months in order to give these other trucks a chance to catch up. Rambo's going up against Bigfoot 8. Look at the difference. New truck on the left. Wow, Andy Brass. Oh, here we go again.
Squirrely at the end again, but I'm just wondering how fast he can get on this track. That was a lightning run.
I'm kind of waiting to find out. Yeah, we're at the end trying to get a time on this. It wasn't only quick, it was smooth.
Andy Brass and the Bigfoot Ford putting on a show, and he almost put on a show with the wall earlier. In case you missed the start of the show today, he actually smacked that wall at the end of the run. This time, he got it stopped a little short of it.
Yeah, but look at everywhere you go, this still has to be probably one of the most popular monster trucks in the world. We got a replay coming up now. The mid-range, it stays straight. That's all he needs
to get a big victory. Bigfoot's your winner. Here's Andy Brass with Army.
Andy, we just get the word, Andy, a 7:33. That's quick time of the night. You made it look look easy. That's the truck end of it. I was watching you, and you were working up in there.
Yeah, I am. You know, it seems like the truck's wanting to pull, and I'm just, you know, really having to fight it to stay straight. You know, it's something that we've been having a problem with all along. You know, but as long as I can hold her straight, you know, we're gonna just keep laying down some fast times.
Last week it was always going to the left. Tonight it's always going to the right. What's the difference?
Well, we're lining up a little bit on the cars. I think the cars are staying up tonight a little bit better than what they have been, and it's pitching us just a little bit one way or the other.
You look at the state-of-the-art Bigfoot, the new wave. Well, what you're seeing here are a couple of the old guard trucks. These guys have been at it and been around for a long time. The Carolina Crusher, he's about to trade that truck in on a new one. And the USA 1 truck, this truck has seen its share of battles.
See, Wilke, the USA 1 always goes to the starting line with fire in his eyes. He wants a win every time. Meanwhile, we're looking at the yellow truck of the Carolina Crusher going into the lanes against Wilke. That truck, for all intents and purposes, only has 5 more races. It's already sold.
This ought to be a dandy race, the renewal of one of the great rivalries in the sport. These two guys have been warring for years. Ever since monster truck racing became a side-by-side sport, these two guys have been going head-to-head.
He who goes straight will go to the next round, Scott. They're pretty even. Oh, what a run.
Sensational race, and Carolina Crusher holds on for a narrow victory over USA 1. If this track would have been another 10 feet longer, USA 1 would have won the race.
Yeah, he was mile an hour him on the other end, but the finish line is the finish line. Gary Porter out just a little bit and held on for the big win. That is an impressive win considering the age of that truck, Scott.
Absolutely no question that that race was won on the starting line by Gary Porter in his Carolina Crusher. Again, watch how quickly Crusher gets out of the hole. He has the lead over the first set of cars. USA 1 closes strong, but not fast enough, and Gary Porter gets the victory. Now he's with Army.
Gary Porter took a whole shot on the starting line, but you had to drive it out the back door on this track, did you?
I did. I knew USA 1, he was going to be pushing his as hard as he could, and I was going to have to push mine as hard as it would run. And I just lined up real far to the right side on that first set of cars and tried to miss all the holes and, you know, in the cars and just hold on.
Porter wins at the Carolina Crusher. Now let's go to Chris Chapman, who is with the beaten Steve Wilke of USA 1.
Steve, it did look like you got a little crooked, a little sideways off that first set of cars. Maybe that was what was the difference.
Yeah, I lined up a little different down on the bottom side here, and when I did that, I hammered the throttle, and the truck moved on the starting line like that, so I hit the actually hit the stack crooked.
Looked like you were also a little out of control there at the end.
No, never.
A little humor from USA 1. We'll be right back on TuffTrax. Douglas, Army Armstrong, Chris Chapman back at Lebanon Valley Speedway. Great facility run by Promoter of the Year, Howie Commander, and right now his fans are seeing some great monster truck racing action. We get the Auto Value King Crunch and the Equalizer. And Army, think back a little bit earlier to that interview we heard with Scott Stevens. He was talking about how happy he was to get down into this other bracket as a fast loser. How can you be happy when you draw the world champion?
I think the smile was wiped off his face as soon as he saw the pairings. You know, one thing about Stevens, for all you drag racers, I want you to look at the truck. It's got TAMT, Top Alcohol Monster Truck. He's got it classified. Right now, he's got his hands full. Oh, but he comes back. Scott, do you believe that?
What happened, Army, on the second set? I thought Equalizer had him covered.
Oh, he did. There had to be, I say there had to be some kind of a transmission problem or something, but Scott Stevens came back like a bad dream to pull that one.
Sometimes I feel like Scott Stevens, when he thinks he's beat, immediately backs off to save the equipment. He never gave up here.
No, he had a handle on it. I think we're going to find out. Let us work our way over. But Chris and I are going to find out what happened to that right lane to that Equalizer.
Boy, Bigfoot's going to gain a bunch on Equalizer in the World Championship points race as a result of this. Army is caught up with the winner, Scott Stevens, after a big upset over the Equalizer.
Got a sub-8-second run, but that's what it's taken to get through this thing tonight against one of the baddest boys in the sport.
Yeah, you know, probably a year ago you could have known who was going to win one of these races. Now, you know, there's so many guys that get tougher every round. The Outlaws, well, you know, some of the quickest runs tonight. Kevin Ford, you know, he got me down the track that time. I kind of made a few mistakes earlier. He went out there and figured out where we need to put the truck. We staged it there. It worked. Kind of slept a little on the line, but on the big end we were there, and that's all that matters. Thank you.
Let's find out what happened to the Equalizer. Chris Chapman is caught up with Greg Holbrook.
Greg, it look like that you had him off the line and then lost it at the end?
Yeah, it wouldn't go into third gear. I put it up and drive, and it just wouldn't shift into third.
So there were some problems with the equalizer?
Yeah, the transmission must be going out again on us.
Well, Army, there had to be something. Scott Stevens made a great run, take nothing away from him, but it was clear Equalizer was losing some power or something just didn't happen for him on the second set.
For years, we've always said, or for 2 years now, we said, we've got to find a weak link on the Equalizer. Well, Scott, we found the weak link. We went to New York and found out it was the transmission. That's the Achilles heel right here, and that's what everybody's going to be going after from now on out. If you're going to beat him, that's where you're going to get him. But look who's coming back now, a guy that made a whole lot of fans on the last run. Tell us all about the Outlaw.
Mike Wine from Pennsauken, New Jersey, driving for Nick Rossi. These guys have battled, and I'll tell you, they're as good now as they've ever been. New truck, new motor, and a very confident driver taking on Thunder Chicken.
They got that new Super Win sponsorship, and look at this. This kid comes out, he's driving with a whole lot of, oh, sparks coming from underneath.
He's got her stopped.
Everything's okay. I believe the safety loop's caught up, but we may have a case here of losing a front drive shaft. Let us check and find out.
Mike Wine's Outlaw Ford. Let's watch it again on the replay.
A good straight run. Everything looks good at this point for both trucks.
Boy, he's got Thunder Chicken flat covered.
Yeah. You should see a spark. Yeah, right there, the front drive shaft let go. Not only let go, it exploded, Scott.
Wow, bad break there. We'll see the condition of the Outlaw in just a moment. But right now, we're going to go to the Crunch of the Week. Here comes the Cruncher.
Cruncher here. This Crunch of the Week ain't a pretty sight. Brought to you by Galoob, makers of micro machines and TuffTrax vehicles. Are you coming up for TuffTrax?
Another look at the problems on the Outlaw, making the Crunch of the Week this time around, and the Crunch is a spark this time. Army at the end of the run.
What he did, he literally exploded the front of that drive shaft. Watch behind her, between the front wheels, right there. But if you're going to win, you got to take them to the limits. That's the outer edge of this envelope right there, Scott.
It is just such a shame because Outlaw's been running so well that he ends up on the Crunch of the Week. Boy, Mike Wine, Nick Rossi, and the guys just got to be shaking their head. They had, I think, their best chance to take home a championship ever tonight.
Well, now, they're not out of this thing. You know, they can still get it together, but believe me, work is going to be the name of the game. Oh, we're going back into the pit area right now to check on them, Scott.
Well, they are flat getting after it. John Kwasniewski in there helping out. You know, John and Mike are good buddies, and he's trying to give him a hand, hoping to get him back. Here's the way the semifinals are paired up. Look at that Ford and Chevy fans. It's Bigfoot against Carolina Crusher. Then, if the Outlaw can come back, he takes on the Auto Value King Crunch. That's ahead on TuffTrax. The Outlaw came with such a hot hand and then exploded the drive shaft in his quarterfinal round victory over the Thunder Chicken. His work continues. Army, when we got that close-up before we went to the break, it wasn't a drive shaft they were working on. They were working on the pan underneath.
Yeah, it was either transmission or an oil pan. I couldn't tell which one, but what happened when the drive shaft exploded, it went up into the bottom of the engine, so they've definitely got some kind of a problem either in the transmission or the engine. Now, speaking of a guy that does not have a problem so far, look who's coming to the line, the Big Blue.
After the problems he had a week ago here, you know, Bob Chandler and Andy Brass have really got to feel good about the way that they've been able to figure this course out and get it back under control. Because last week they looked terrible, and today they look awesome.
Well, they look bad right now. Look at this. They are thumping that Carolina Crusher, and what happens at the end? Again, it hangs to the right. But that doesn't matter. Once you go across the finish line, you can do loop-de-loos if you want because you're going to the next round. That's got to be in the back of his mind that that truck's going to react that way, Scott.
Carolina Crusher has been strong and fast for 2 weeks here on TuffTrax, and he just got completely blown away by Bigfoot number 8 and Andy Brass.
Yeah, Brass just thumped him right on the start line. He drilled him right from the get-go. Look at that. Now, again, notice how straight the truck is until it comes off the finish line into the track, and it hooks right on him.
Yeah, but he's able to keep it straight. And I'm going to tell you, Bigfoot looks absolutely awesome tonight. One more look at it as Andy Brass puts away Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. Now he's over with Army.
Andy, all night long, you and your crew chief has been going back and tweaking the truck, fine-tuning, and it's going straight as an arrow for you now.
That's right. You know, Donnie and I, we've been working all week on the truck. We've been having a lot of problems at pulling to the right. We think we got it under control tonight, though. So we've just been lining up on the line and pulling it, and it's been working pretty straight. We're having to work at it, but it's been doing us a good job.
Have any preference to who you want to go against in the final, or does it make any difference in this type of competition?
It don't really make any difference right now.
Andy and Army talking about the crew chief for the Bigfoot truck. Donnie comes over with a big handshake right there. He's going to take a look to make sure his truck's okay.
You know, these crew chiefs are real important. Kevin Ford, he really helps Scott Stevens. Donnie, he does some driving for the Bigfoot operation, but it's getting to the point now. If you're going to stay on this tour, you're going to have to take a crew with you.
King Krunch is at the line. The Outlaw's on the clock. Army's getting a communication radio to listen to King Krunch.
Scott, you've done this for many years. You've been in this position before. You're going to give this guy every chance he can get to get up there and race against. You want to win a racing, right?
Exactly. And he's been running really good tonight. Like I said, I know if he can get to the line, he's still going to give us a good run. And I feel kind of bad about pulling up here. Like I said, we tried to play around in our pits as long as we could. The official come back there and said he's going to put us on the clock. So, you know, we had to come to the line. We did all we could for him.
Now, Outlaw is getting into the truck, or Mike Wine's getting into the Outlaw and getting it started.
What Mike is trying to do, he has major problems. Everybody's been thrashing to get him there. The benefit of the doubt has gone his way all night long. Only reason he's going after right now, Scott Douglas, is for the points.
Now, he's coming out, but he's got only two-wheel drive. Army, he can run in two-wheel drive, but he's going to be very slow out of the hole.
He can run in two-wheel drive, but if you remember earlier this evening, he had to have four-wheel drive to keep him getting upside down. Believe me, that is in his mind right now. I don't look for him to drive it real hard. He's smart enough to take it to the limit and then pull back. Meanwhile, Stevens is going bear hunting with the switch right now. Let's see if he can move into that next round.
Remember, Scott Stevens was beaten earlier tonight, but survived through the fast loser rule. Got down in what he felt like was a better bracket for him. It may work out because Outlaw can't go 100%. But Outlaw's sticking with him.
Yeah, he's running him tight. He's running him tight. Stevens, nothing to be ashamed of. Now, Stevens is the only truck to go straight out of the left lane. Keep that in mind. That could pay dividends later.
I've got to tip my hat to him. I know Scott Stevens ran a great race and he's in the final, but what can you say about Mike Wine and the Outlaw? You thought that he might not go all out. He gave it everything he had, Army.
Yeah, he ran him hard. He wasn't. What that does is show me he really believes in the safety of his truck and his ability as a driver. He's not afraid to take it to the limits. That's exactly what he did.
A truck with only two-wheel drive, but he comes up just a little short. And let's see, you know, when you think about it, the start, he would have started quicker in four-wheel drive. You had to say that's what cost him.
You know, he surprised you and he surprised me. I guarantee he surprised Scott Stevens. Yeah, look at this.
You better believe it. Scott comes over and says, man, I didn't expect that. Army's over there with Scott Stevens. Let's see what he's got to say. Army?
Scott, motorsports make kind of strange bedfellows. The fact he worked so hard to beat a guy, but then again, you come over, you always got tears in your eyes after beating him. You know what he went through. You've been there before, but you're going to the final, and he's not.
Yeah, this auto value bunch, you know, we need to get to these final rounds for all our sponsors and everybody. You know, we've had a bad month, and hey, it's our turn to get up there and play with Bigfoot and those other guys. And truck's working good. Like I said, Kevin got me through that other round, and that round there, I just, you know, wanted to win. I just kind of kept an eye on Mike because I knew he was still going to run that truck hard. He always does. And when I saw he was right there with me still at half track, I just, you know, did what I had to do to win, save our truck. You know, we're going to have to get all these good old auto value parts and Cobra seats and race and radios and everything just to get through this final to get that Bigfoot truck.
We got your sponsors mentioned now. Let's go to the final.
Let's go.
When we come back, the hottest rivalry in monster truck racing, Bigfoot 8 and King Krunch in the Monster Smash. It's right around the corner on TuffTrax. This is what it's come down to at Lebanon Valley Speedway on TuffTrax. Bigfoot number 8, Andy Brass, St. Louis, Missouri, driving for the most famous name in monster truck racing, Bob Chandler's Bigfoot stable. Against him, the auto value King Krunch out of Woodlands, Texas, another warrior who's been around this sport a long time. Scott Stevens, outstanding operation. He came in with a computerized setup a year ago, state-of-the-art in that respect, while Bob Chandler designed a state-of-the-art chassis. And that's what we're seeing, not only these two different philosophies about monster truck racing, but also two guys who don't like each other. Scott Stevens has spent all year bad-mouthing the new Bigfoot truck, and Andy Brass just wants to hammer him every time he can.
Well, what we're going to have here, you notice they're playing mind games with each other, trying to jockey around, get a little bit of heat in the engine. What are you going to see at Lebanon Valley right now, Scott? Battle of the Blues.
But it's not the Blues Brothers, I'll tell you that.
These guys are not even first cousins, believe me.
Bigfoot has been gaining points on Equalizer all night because King Krunch, the auto value special, actually did Bigfoot a favor earlier tonight. Of course, he was doing more for himself by getting the victory. Here we go, it's showtime.
Stevens out of shape at half track. That cost him. Bigfoot takes a big win, Scott.
Army, when we watch the replay, auto value King Krunch had a shot to win this race at halfway. If he could have stayed straight, he was right there with Bigfoot. But when he got squirrely, it was all over.
We've been talking about Bigfoot having problems between the jumps. The problem this time landed on the other blue truck. Stevens with the auto value a little bit out of shape, had the back on the throttle. That gave Bigfoot a chance to literally leap to the very, very popular win.
Look at Andy Brass. He's hanging out the window, kind of just riding on the side, and they love him here in New York.
Hey, this victory's been a long time coming. It's well-deserved. Let's watch the replay. It comes up again.
Now, again, the key to this race is Scott Stevens in between the two sets of cars.
Right.
They're even.
Here, he's in trouble. That's the race.
They were even until that, and he had to get out of the throttle. And, boy, you cannot make any mistake against Andy Brass and Bigfoot number 8. Here we come again.
Watch out. Love these replays. He gives you a couple times to see. In the background, you see Kevin Ford come around, Scott Stevens' crew chief. He's watching, but Stevens, as soon as he gets in trouble, that's it.
Andy Brass, your winner. Here's Armin.
All right, this was a night, Andy, that you guys were looking for, being the Bigfoot team, and the other guys were not. You got the truck running straight. You got it handling good. What about the points chase now? Can you pull these guys in that are in front of you? And there's only one of them.
That's right. Equalizer's been ahead of us. From what I've been following, he's only roughly, I don't know, 30, 40 points maybe. But we have another couple shows to go, and if we can keep her straight, and you know, tonight we had a perfect night. It was 25 points. We pull a couple more of them off. It won't take us long to catch him.
Can you do it? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Ford Acclaim running the way it is tonight and stuff. I think we'll catch him here in a couple shows.
Andy Brass sounding very confident. Mentioned a perfect night, 25 points. That means he was fast qualifier, won every race. And indeed, that perfect night helped him chop down that lead the Equalizer has. The difference is now 31 points. The Carolina Crusher is still hanging in there as the truck of Gary Porter is another 33 back. The auto value King Krunch, hey, he's not out of it either. Then USA 1 is back in the top 5. Gravedigger, whose season has come to an end, is at number 6. The Nightlife truck trying to track him down with Dave Weiczorek. Outlaw making some tracks. Can he catch Nightlife? We'll see coming down the home stretch. Then it's Awesome Kong and the Buffalo Tremor rounding out the top 10. Army Armstrong, we're going to look at the championship matchup one more time. And again, I got to tip my hat to Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Krunch special. He fired his shot. He knew he had to make a perfect run, and if he could have stayed straight, I think he was going to hang in there with Bigfoot.
Yeah, he would have definitely been there, but Bigfoot fired his shot too. He laid all the cards on the table. When dice came up, it was a straight ace for the big blue Ford.
Super run and a super win for Bigfoot and Andy Brass, the crew from St. Louis, Missouri. Thanks to Army Armstrong and Chris Chapman. Once again, another exciting round of competition on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge, this time at Lebanon Valley Speedway. TuffTrax has been brought to you by Z-Rex Antifreeze Coolant. It pays to remember the temperature never drops below Z-Rex. And by Game Boy from Nintendo, your power to go. We'll see you next week here on TuffTrax.